My name is Corey Gregory. I'm the trade marketing manager for True Hockey. And we just wanted to take this opportunity, first of all, to thank everyone for all the support over the last, 18 plus months. We know it hasn't been very easy on anybody. It's been definitely a trying time in the world, especially in the industry. So it was an opportunity for us to do our very best to get in front of you today with our engineering team and what I would call our stick gurus out in San Diego, as well as our glove product development manager down in Memphis, Tennessee, to be able to talk to you a little bit about Catalyst launch that's going to happen next week. So we have Brian, Jordan, and Jonah out in San Diego. They're going to take us through a presentation on the Catalyst stick line. We'll go through about 30 minutes approximately. And feel free to type in any questions in the chat. Right now, we're going to try to keep everyone on mute due to the large group, and we will be monitoring all the questions on the chat. After approximately 35 minutes, depending on how Brian's presentation goes out in San Diego, we will then look at all the questions that have logged in. We will open up to Cole Chapman on my team. Will basically feed all the questions back to Brian and his team in San Diego, and we'll try to get as many questions as we can possibly get answered. If there's anything that we miss, we're going to log everything, and we're going to send everybody out a Q&A kind of document for all the questions that you answered with some of the answers if we weren't able to get to them. At that point, about 45 minutes in, we'll bring Dason in, and Dason's going to talk about the Catalyst glove line for the launch as well. So, first of all, like you said, type everything into your chat. If you have questions, we will monitor. If you want to change your view in the top right to speaker view, then you will obviously just see whoever is communicating with you at the time. And other than that, we can get going. I know most of you have probably seen as of now and obviously booked the Catalyst line as well. So thank you very much for that. But we just felt it was a good opportunity during this time to be able to get in front of you and really let the gurus, as we like to call them, the guys who basically design the stick and get the product out ready for retail, to be able to get in front of you today. Very brief history. You guys know where we came from. We're a 100-year-old golf shaft company. Technology and innovation has been something that we've prided, and today we believe that we've brought you, our lightest stick family to date, and I'm very proud of it. And can't wait to kind of get it out in everybody's hands in the next week or so. So, on that, I believe last thing I will say is we're going to give away a couple of signed Project X sticks from Mitch Marner at the end of this. We're going to basically take a list of everybody who's joined us today, and we will do a random draw at the end just to have a thank you. We'll get it sent out to a lucky participant as we kind of track everyone who's on the call today. Hope it goes well. So far, so good. Looks like we have well over 50, 60 people right now to start. So I'm going to turn it over to Brian and team. He will present, go through a product knowledge session on the sticks, as I said, and when he's done, we'll throw it back to him and the boys out in the boardroom, and we can start asking some questions. Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks, Corey. Thanks to everyone for joining us. Like Corey said, I just want to run through the Catalyst stick line, which is launching here soon. I imagine everyone's had a chance to see the product, so we just hope to get together today. I'll go through, this is actually the exact same presentation I went through with all of our sales reps when we did our sales meeting last year. So you'll get all the same information that they have. Together with the catalog and any other questions today and from your sales rep, it should be everything you need to sell the product. Real quick, we're coming to you from our R&D facility in San Diego. This is where we do all our composites R&D, not just for hockey, but for golf, lacrosse, baseball. Any composite products are developed in this facility here. So it's a fun place to work. We do a lot of fun stuff. It's a very unique facility in that we can have an idea in the morning. We can actually, do a design and make a stick in a day. And then we have a shooting gallery out here with some skatable ice that we can test the stick in the same day. So it's a pretty unique facility in that regard. We do all our own manufacturing in our own factory, like most of you already know. So it definitely gives us a competitive advantage, we feel. Real quick introduction before I pull up the presentation, joined by Jordan, who's our lead stick designer for player sticks. Jonah, who does a lot of work on our composite skate shells, as well as our goalie stick line. We're all, it's a unique facility we're in, because we all kind of interact together. While Jonah's working on goal sticks, Jordan is actually a goalie, so they work a lot on the goal sticks. And it's not just, one guy off in their own corner doing their own thing. We all work together, and it makes it a fun place to work. And we feel the product reflects that. So let me just pull up this presentation and we'll get going. Okay, so first, before we get into Catalyst, I want to talk about the objectives of the Catalyst line. The Catalyst is replacing the X-Core line, which was launched back in 2019. It was actually the third generation of that technology. The original X-Core had this urethane insert embedded in the blade. And basically, this is designed to keep the puck closer to the blade, to give you better spin, better accuracy, better control. Created a blade with a pretty soft feel, and it's kind of developed a loyal following over the years. There's a lot of players that really like this X-Core technology. The second generation, we went to an insert, different design of insert, where the back of the insert was actually exposed on the back face of the blade rather than the bottom edge. And, that addressed some of the durability issues you get on the bottom edge of the blade where that insert was. So we've had this technology out for 6 years. And with the Catalyst line, we really wanted to make sure that the players that were really loyal to that stick line, to that technology and that type of feel, would not be disappointed in what we created with the Catalyst. The challenge we faced is that with the X-Core insert, you gain quite a bit of weight with this insert. This insert is about 5 grams. There's another 6-7 grams of material that have to go around that insert to hold it in the blade and make sure the blade holds up. So we've seen stick weights drop considerably over the last several years. When the XC9 came out, it was right in that ballpark of, high-end sticks. It wasn't the lightest stick on the ice because of the X-Core insert, but it was in the discussion as far as high-end sticks. It was an acceptable weight. At 425 grams, today that is not really a high-end stick, and we needed to address that and get the weights down with the Catalyst line. Not only were we able to achieve that, as you'll see, we did it across all price points with a couple of unique technologies that we'll get into. So that was the main challenge, is keeping that feel, keeping that performance that the X-Core players like without the X-Core insert, because it just added too much weight. And then lastly, if you followed us since we started back in 2014, every stick has been blue with whatever shade of gray, black, white, gray, whatever it may be. We wanted to introduce another color and give us a little bit different look. So obviously we've done that with the Catalyst stick. So I'm going to let Jordan go over the first technology, and this is what we're calling the BAT technology, which stands for Braided Aramid Tech. Basically, it's exactly the same as our BRT technology, but we're removing the carbon and replacing that with a different material, which Jordan can describe.
Yeah, as Brian said, we wanted to kind of maintain that feel of the X-Core. So we really thought this Aramid or Kevlar material would really help with that. Some of the bigger properties with Aramid fibers is it dampens vibrations, helps with the elongation to break, which helps make a less rigid blade hold up to these durability standards. And it's actually also lighter than carbon, or it's a lower density, which has really helped shave some weight in addition to removing the X-Core insert. I think we should go to the next technology, which is the PASS technology. So PASS technology is really just a new foam core material that we found, which really just increases the compression strength. Looks like it's about 50% higher, which really helps with the impacts. Again, just adding to that durability while lowering the weight. The 25% higher shear strength also just helps longevity of the blade. And again, just helps create an overall better blade at a lower weight. Anything else?
No, so basically what these two technologies do is we're trying to replicate the same performance and same results that we have with the X-Core blade in a much lighter package. So using these new materials, Jordan was able to knock 20 grams out of the blade weight, which is an enormous amount of weight for a blade. Typically, blade laminates for the X-Core about 110 grams that we're adding to the end of that stick. With the Catalyst 9, it's a 90-gram blade design. So the braided Aramid tech with the Aramid fiber, that's going to damp vibrations significantly, just like this little insert did, with much less weight. And with this new foam core material, we're going to be able to create that softer feel and more flexible blade. It's about 20% less rigid than a Project X or AX9 blade. So obviously when the blade is bending, twisting, that's going to put more stresses in the foam. So with the past foam core technology, we're able to create that type of construction without really seeing any loss of durability. So we'll keep going through, but obviously if you have any questions, type those out and we'll be answering questions at the end here. So in addition to the two technologies that Jordan covered and eliminating that weight in the blade, we also implemented a completely new shaft design, which is still a mid-kick profile, just like the XC9 was in the Catalyst 9. But we reduced the weight significantly, and we did that with some new materials and by implementing some of the design philosophies that we used in the Project X stick, which was our lightest stick to date at 355 grams. So we used a laminate design technology we call PLD, which means precision laminate design. And that is basically orienting the fibers in every layer to contribute to both stiffness and impact strength. So typically if you have, fibers running the length of the shaft, that's going to contribute to stiffness, but not contribute much to impact strength. If they're at 90 degrees or going around the shaft, they're going to contribute primarily to impact strength, but not to stiffness. And at 45 degrees, you're getting a little bit of impact, a little bit of stiffness, and also some torsional stiffness. So it's a complicated formula. There's a lot of different layers, about 28 different layers in a Project X stick, about 25 in the Catalyst 9. But it's basically just getting everything we can out of every layer to contribute to the durability. So we're able to reduce the weight without reducing the durability of the stick. So the result was a 385 gram stick at 60 inches. That's a 40 gram reduction over the XC9. So 20 grams in the blade, 20 grams in the shaft. And we actually, if we look at our lab data, our bend strength is actually slightly higher on the Catalyst 9 compared to the XC9. The impact strength is actually slightly higher, but it's still in that lightweight category. It's still, skating on that edge where most of those high-end price points are. So with those two technologies, we're able to create that stick. One of our biggest challenges was with one of our NHL players, Ryan Johansson, has been using the X-Core technology since he joined us several years ago. And we've never been able to get him out of that stick. Every time we develop a new stick, we send it to him. He always goes back to the X-Core. So it was kind of validation that this design was exactly what we intended when we sent him the Catalyst 9 and he said, I love it. I want to switch to this stick. So we achieved what we wanted to achieve based on that one player, but it was a big challenge, and it was really exciting when we heard that. So get into more of the specs from the rest of the line. Catalyst 9, as I said, was 385 grams for the senior. We also have a full U-Flex line of sticks in the Catalyst 9. So we go 50, 40, 30, 20, just like we have in some of our other lines. And then we have the senior length 65 flex, which was very popular with the Project X sticks, and we've carried over into the Catalyst line, and a 55 flex intermediate. So intermediate typically is the same size shaft as the senior. With the Catalyst, it's a slightly smaller shaft. It's pretty subtle, but it is a slightly smaller shaft this time around. So on to the Catalyst 7. Catalyst 7 we design as that it's really for that player that's looking for that high performance stick, but might be a little harder on sticks. It's for that, CHL team that wants some sticks from us. They don't have the budget of NHL teams, right? So they're looking for something that's going to last them a little bit more, but they don't want to give up on performance. So we designed the Catalyst 7 with all the same technologies as the Catalyst 9. The main difference is you're going to give up about 25 grams in weight to get that little bit of added extra durability in there. So it's not to diminish the heavier weight. Weight we do see as a technology. You can shoot harder with a lighter stick. But for those people that are, a little bit harder on sticks, it's a great option and really good as a team stick. And that one comes in at 410 grams at 60-inch length. So you compare that, we're not talking about the top price point. Now we're down in that second price point. We're still 15 grams lighter than the 2019 XC9 stick. That was a high-end price point. So we're still lighter than that stick. So it's a pretty impressive stick, but it is about 25 grams heavier than the 9. And you're going to see a trend across the line getting into the Catalyst 5 next. The Catalyst 5 is in that mid price point. And please, I'm an engineer. I don't really talk pricing. That would be a good question for Cole or for Corey. I kind of know where the prices are, but I don't want to say a number that is wrong. So I'll just, we'll call that the mid price point stick. So it's replacing, in the X Core line, we used to only have 3 sticks. Now we have 4 in this one. So it's not exactly the same price point, but it's going to fall in that same price as like the AX5 stick. So this stick is 430 grams at a 60-inch length. One of the things we added to this stick, in addition to just lower overall weight, was we have this spread toe weave on both the shaft and the blade. I don't think you'll find it, at least when we developed this stick, nobody out there was selling a stick at this price point that used that spread toe weave on both the shaft and the blade. It's a very expensive material. But it does allow you to reduce the weight because it's so much lighter than any other fabrics that are being used out there. And typically you only see it on higher end sticks. So you'll see that on both shaft and blade for the 9, the 7, and the 5. 430 grams, similar flex profile, right, to the 9 and the 7. And again, you're just giving up a little bit more weight to the stick. Now, as we go down in price, typically the way that works is we're going to use a little bit thicker materials that are going to be lower cost. But with the Catalyst 5, you're still getting 100% carbon fiber stick. We're not swapping out carbon fiber for fiberglass to reduce that cost at that price point. So, and at 430 grams, we're talking 5 grams heavier than the 2019 XC9, which was almost double the price of this stick. So the specs are really impressive on this stick line. That's why we're calling it the lightest stick family to date. Across every price point, it's going to be the lightest stick in that price point. So I've been comparing to the XC9. We had 2 other sticks in the X Core line, the XC7 and XC5. This is 20 grams lighter than the XC7, 70 grams lighter than the XC5, and this is the 3rd price point in the stick. So again, really impressive weights in the stick line. The only difference between the 5 and the 7 and 9 is we're using carbon in the blade to maintain that stiffness and to get that cost back where we need it to be. But it still has our BRT Plus technology, which is found on high-end sticks like AX9, Project X. The carbon is just a little bit, it helps us to get that stiffness back to where we need it at this price point stick. So you're not getting the BAT technology. The blade is going to have a slightly livelier feel to it, but with the added weight, you get a little bit more damping from the added weight. So still very similar performance as the rest of the lineup. And then the last stick in the line is the Catalyst 3. This is our entry-level price point. Again, I don't want to say exact number. It's in that $110 US dollar range at 450 grams. So we're talking 25 grams heavier than the old XC9 at an entry-level price point. 7 years ago when we got into the market, our entry-level price point stick was 580 grams. Now we're down to 450. 450, there used to be high-end sticks sold at that price. So you're really seeing a downward trend in weights, and we're really working hard to try to be that leader in weight at every single price point. And the key is not only to be that leader, but not to give up anything on durability. We're not shortening warranties. We're not using cheaper materials. We're actually using better materials in most cases. So on this Catalyst 3, you'll see we still have that spread toe weave on the blade. We go to a fiberglass weave on the shaft, but the rest of that shaft is all carbon fiber. So still pretty impressive specs at that price point, 450 grams. I think you'd be hard pressed to find anything out there at that weight. At the time we did the design, I know there was nothing out there at that price point and that weight. And a big change for us this year, a big addition, is we've added the U-Flex line to the Catalyst 3. So that's only been available at the high end, the 20, 30, 40, and 50 Flex Junior sticks. We've added that at the Catalyst 3 at an entry-level price point. So junior sticks can take advantage of that without having to go to the high-end price point. So it's been a big seller for us, and so far, so good. So that's it for the player stick line. We'll move on to the goal sticks, but like I said, if you've got some questions, just type them out. I can't see them at this point. I'm sure Cole will show them to us later when we start, but be happy to answer any questions once we go through the goal stick line. So we started back in 2014, and we've always had one goal stick line in our A series. And we decided to add a second line for a number of reasons. One is, as we've worked with more and more pro goalies, we've had a lot of different requests, and some of those requests we get very frequently. And we found that there's a need for a different type of goal stick. And it's primarily related to shape of the shaft, shape of the shoulder, and the flex profile overall stick. So I'll let Jonah go into that. You guys want to swap seats there?
Yeah, sure.
And he can go into the differences with the Catalyst goal stick and comparing them to the A series goal stick, primarily the AX9 goal stick.
Yeah. So now that you got a better view of me, we'll go through the different features that Brian alluded to here. First, on the shaft shape, we did notice a significant number of pros asking for a rounder shaft shape. Just gives a little bit of a different feel when they're stick handling or sliding out for a poke check. You can see here a cross section of the two. In terms of the overall dimensions, they're about the same, just the corners are a little bit rounder. And so it provides a different feel, but it also increases impact strength a little bit. So I was able to reduce the weight of the shaft slightly while keeping the same level of durability as the AX line of sticks. And then just to provide an additional option, we introduced a slightly steeper shoulder shape that you can see there on the bottom. It just kind of gives the goalies a little bit of a different feel in their hand as they're holding it. It's really more of a preferential thing that we found with a lot of different goalies that we wanted to be able to offer to the retail market. That's pretty much it on the shoulder shape. And then one of the bigger design changes with this one, at least, is we've been looking a lot more at flex profile in the sense of goalies, which, back when we first started making goalie sticks, it was pretty much, goalies set up the puck for the D-man and that's about it. But with the last year's AX9 stick, we noticed a trend with a little bit of a lower flex point, where, if a goalie wanted to just get off a really quick pass or get it high off the glass in a split second, you want a little bit of a softer, lower paddle and blade. But we also did notice some goalies, having some trouble getting some flex in the shaft. And just didn't like the feel as much, and they requested some stiffer paddles, which led me towards the design that you can see on the screen there, where the Catalyst 9 is actually a little bit stiffer down low in the paddle and a little bit softer up here in the shaft. So what that does, it's not dissimilar from a player stick, where this new loading profile will change the performance of the stick. So instead of loading down here at the bottom for a quick little, flip off the glass kind of shot, you can actually load it a little bit heavier and get a little bit more power on it with this essentially high kick paddle and shaft profile that we're introducing on the Catalyst line. And then lastly, using a lot of the same kind of technologies that Jordan developed on the player sticks with the BAT technology and the PLD technology, I incorporated a lot of those design principles onto the goalie stick to be able to reduce the weight. Reducing it a little bit in the shaft, but even more so down in the paddle and blade for an overall weight of 30 grams less than the AX9 goalie stick, and a little bit of a better balance and feel in the hand as well. So all those technologies, like Brian said, it's very collaborative here. So a lot of them started off on the player side, and then I was able to introduce it on the goalie side. The BAT is a great example because, as Jordan said, the Aramid fibers will reduce vibrations a little bit, which for a goalie stick we know is huge as they're redirecting pucks in the corners and taking those really hard shots. Any little bit to dampen that vibration, improve the feel will really help. And then I don't know all the pricing information off the top of my head, but on the Catalyst 9, you can see there, based on a 26-inch paddle, 620 gram overall weight for a senior shaft, and a 710 gram overall weight for the Catalyst 5X as well. Again, using a lot of the same materials as the player sticks. It's all carbon with that same spread toe weave on the paddle, blade, and shaft for the Catalyst 9. And then on the Catalyst 5, that same fiberglass weave on the outside, and very little additional fiberglass in the design as well, almost entirely carbon fibers on the inside, and a similar foam core technology as well. So all the same design benefits from the same shoulder shape, shaft shape, and paddle profile on the 9 you're going to get on the 5 as well.
Just to add, one more addition to this line is a 23-inch paddle length, which is new. We typically only go down to 24 and then drop into the junior stick. So we've got the 23-inch intermediate as well as the 24-inch as well in this line. And just to add on the goal sticks, with the acquisition of Lefebvre this past year, there's been a lot of energy on goalie, and honestly, we've got a big challenge ahead of us on the goal stick side because, with Lefebvre, they've got about half the NHL players in their gear, and now they're all in true goalie gear. We've got a lot of goalies, the vast majority wearing our skates, and we're trying to catch up on the sticks. So we've gone from about, I believe we had one goalie last year. This year we had about, I think, 8 to 9. And we're working to switch more and more goalies into the stick. So Joan has been very busy on the goal stick side. It's become one of the things that takes a lot of time out of his day, and it's very exciting. And we're looking forward to continuing to develop the technology and get more and more players into the stick. So on that note, I think we're ready for questions. Let me stop sharing this, guys, and you can, if I can find my cursor.
All right, I'll let Cole lead. First of all, Brian and team, great. Thank you so much. Very informative. Personal thank you to you guys. You've done this a few times for us now, and always appreciative. So I'll let Cole lead through the questions. And as I said, if there's anything we don't capture that's in the comment section, we'll make sure we send out a little Q&A after as well.
Hey, Brian. question here on the UFlex line and kind of what makes the UFlex line so successful, as well as kind of if you can touch on the addition of the second UFlex line and why you guys went there.
That's a good question. The UFlex line is, we're not the only company to do something like this. We weren't the first company to do something like this. The idea is that as kids grow, they need longer sticks, they need stiffer sticks. But a stick for a 6-year-old is not necessarily the right stick for a 12-year-old. They're much different sizes, different strengths, everything else. I think what has made the UFlex line so successful for us is just our philosophy and how we develop junior and youth products. We worked as an OEM supplier for 14 years, meaning we were manufacturing sticks for other companies. And we decided to go off on our own. And, one of the things I can tell you from our days as a supplier before starting True is that we typically only made senior sticks and pro sticks. We didn't do a lot of junior sticks. And the primary reason for that was because of the facility we have here in San Diego. Even though we have a China-based operation for manufacturing, we could not compete at the prices of the low-cost manufacturers in China that are wholly owned Chinese companies. So as a result, juniors are sold for lower price. Our customers were looking for higher margins. We just couldn't meet their price demands on the junior sticks. So typically what you would see is a senior stick, coming from a factory like ours, and then that junior stick would come from a different factory with lower end materials, a lot of fiberglass, and the same decal. It looked the same. So our philosophy is a little different. Our philosophy is to design the junior sticks exactly like our senior sticks. The shaft is a little smaller, the blade is a little smaller, the stiffness is lower, but we're using the same materials, the same technologies, everything's identical from a design standpoint. And we feel that gives you a much higher end stick at the junior level and equates to higher performance for those higher level junior players.
Thank you. And can you just touch on the addition of the second UFlex line and the 3X as well as the 9X?
Yeah, I think, obviously not everybody's buying high-end sticks for their kids, right? And we just wanted those kids to have an opportunity to get all the benefits of the UFlex technology without having to go to that high-end price point. So, we put a lot of focus on junior and youth sticks. We sometimes argue internally that we have way too many junior SKUs and way too many youth SKUs, and there's just too many out there. But we feel long-term that getting kids into our sticks is going to equal long-term success. We're not just looking at next year or the year after. We're looking 5, 10, 15 years down the road, at least to when I can retire.
Thanks, Brian. Next question's on mid kick and kind of the difference in the low kick and why that takes a little bit more to get the weight down and why that was a little bit more of a task compared to the Project X.
Sure. I'm going to start sharing again here because I actually have flex profile of the 3 high-end sticks, the AX9 Project X and Catalyst 9. And it's just easier to show it. So I'll bring it up here. Why is it asking me for a key? Okay. I don't know what happened there.
Looks like you're on the last slide. You may have to jump back.
Oh, I thought I was starting from that slide. Okay. Okay. So these are our stiffness profiles mapped out. Project X is going to be the softest taper. That's the lowest kick stick. AX9 we classify as kind of mid to low. And then the Catalyst 9 is more of a mid kick. So what does that mean, right? It's when you flex the stick, where is it going to bend the most? So the Catalyst 9, you'll see that lower section below the bottom hand is significantly stiffer than the rest of the shaft and gets softer as you go into the hosel and the blade. The AX9 is kind of that in between. The Project X is the lowest kick. So a low kick, that's, you might already have the blade on the ice when you're trying to load it, right? You need to be able to load it quick and with minimal effort. And that type of a flex profile is going to, make it so you can do that. Catalyst 9, it's not as simple as it's better for a slap shot, right? It depends on your motion. It depends on how you shoot. It depends on where your hands are positioned on the stick. So players that keep their bottom hand a little higher might actually prefer a mid kick or an AX9 type of kick for that wrist shot. Players that keep their hand a little lower are going to like the Project X better. So generally speaking, the Catalyst 9 is better for those full motion shots. But it's not always the case, which is why we always encourage people to try different sticks if they have the opportunity to do so.
Excellent. The next question may flip over to Jonah. Just a few clarifying questions on the goal stick. The goal stick shaft is labeled in the catalog as a square concave shaft. You mentioned it's round. Can you just clarify which it is?
Yeah, so for the senior Catalyst sticks, the shaft is going to feature more of that round cross section, like we saw in the slideshow.
Yeah, that may be a catalog error.
Yeah,
If it's saying square.
Yep.
yeah. The AX9 is more of that square shaft shape.
The steeper shoulder, is it on one side or both sides of the paddle?
Steeper is just on the bottom side, so it's kind of tough to see here. But this line is what has become steeper. This top line has not changed between the AX9 and the Catalyst. So it's more for how they hold their bottom fingers. Some guys do it on the paddle, some guys go full wrap around. It just gives them another opportunity to try something a little bit different.
And next question on goalie is indicated that it has quite a high kick feel, but it's labeled as a mid kick. Can you please clarify on that as well?
Yeah, so it's not as one-to-one of a crossover from goalie to player because obviously the shooting motion isn't completely different. But we've labeled it more as a mid kick because that is the Catalyst line. So in the catalog, it is more of a mid kick relative to the AX9, which is a low kick. So it's not as easily definable as it's loading more here versus here because unlike in players, goalies are tending to put their bottom hand in the same position over a couple different inches. The difference with the Catalyst goalie stick is that it's a softer overall shaft and a stiffer overall paddle, which are the two main areas that you can play with the composite to create different stiffness profiles. So when I was saying it's a higher kick, I meant more in terms of it's flexing closer to where your hand is, but it's really still flexing over the entirety of the stick, if that makes sense.
Excellent. The 9X or 7X player stick be offered in a taller length standard at retail?
It's a good question. I don't know if Corey, you have the answer to that, but we can make a stick any length we want to. I don't know what we're offering.
Yeah, I guess I'll actually probably take that question to be able to answer a couple of things because I noticed some people had a few questions in there regarding kind of retail availability, colors, product, and different things. So I would tell you the best thing right there, and I know it sounds like an easy out, is work with your territory manager and your sales rep because they'll know every program for each individual area and each individual product that we're selling. And the same as Brian said, he was, wouldn't kind of go down the price road because obviously we got Canadian, US, we may even have some European customers on the phone with us or on the call with us right now. So in saying that, yeah, any stick can be obviously made. As you know, this year we made the stick for Zdeno Chara. So he's not using a 58 or 60-inch stick. I don't know if Brian and boys know what he's actually using, but so it can be made. But the standard stick is, as we have labeled it, in the catalog, is a 60 length, but it can be it can be made different if it's a custom order. And I would ask your reps how that works. I'm not going to tell you I know the custom program off by heart. That's why we have experts out in the field. And the same would be on the color. Some people asked about some goalie color ordering. Reach out to the boys. I really don't know how that works in the NHL color profiles, but our team definitely in street level would know all about that for you and be well versed to be able to discuss that with you.
There's two things there. There are 9 goalie colors in both models available as booking SKUs. Black and white are stock. There are 9 others that are booking. And in North America, there is not a 63-inch. However, there is in Europe.
Perfect. Thank you, Jason. Appreciate it.
That we may turn it over to Jason, Corey.
Yeah, so guys, if there's anything that we've missed, I think we went through most of the questions. I can see Cole did, but feel free to, just because you didn't get a chance to ask it now, if you decide, later you're, I wish I had to, just reach out to whoever, if it's your rep, if it's your head office, if it's us directly, and you have that information, we'll be happy to answer those questions for you. And like you say, we will take some of these questions and put them in like a Q&A document, as if it was, something that we were sending out just to cover the different questions that were asked on the call today. No, so that's great. Brian and team, again, thank you so very much. Greatly appreciate it. Some great questions there. And if that's it, we don't see anything else coming in, we'll turn it over to Jason. He's going to take you through the glove line.
Hey, everybody. Well, first, thank you again for the time. As Brian and Corey and the team have said, it's a pleasure to be here, and glad we could talk to everybody about what we're doing. So as those guys said, they're hanging out in San Diego, and I am here in Memphis, Tennessee at our corporate headquarters. So I lead our product line management and product development teams. So wanted to spend some time with everybody and talk through our upcoming Catalyst glove line. So I'll start at the top, very similar to the way that Brian and team did. And Brian and his team started with the Catalyst 9. I'll do the same. So our Catalyst 9 glove is really a unique piece, and we've started from the bottom up from our gloves this year. We've changed every single aspect of the glove, everything you can imagine, from the materials on the inside and the outside, a completely new thumb design, just a complete redesign and restart. And we're really proud of where we ended up. So to start of the Catalyst 9, I'll start on the outside of the glove, kind of the things that you can see and jump out at you. First of all is the cuff. As you look down into the glove, we have a 5-piece molded flexible cuff. So it's kind of everything you can possibly imagine. The piece here is molded, so it's going to hold that shape real nice to push up against your forearm. We have 5 separate pieces of cuff that kind of give this nice flower petal look, really giving you a lot of flexibility and comfort in the cuff area. There's also a layer of Lycra here connecting the cuff to the backhand and the base of the glove that, again, leads one more level of flexibility. So an extremely flexible, nice wide open cuff for you. The Catalyst 9 also features 3-piece fingers in the index, the middle, and in the ring finger. So a lot of product out there at this price point has that 3-piece thumb, at least in the index and center. We've put that in the ring finger for you as well. Again, really focused on comfort and flexibility. And then we do have a completely redesigned 3-piece thumb in the Catalyst 9 glove. So this is, again, from the ground up. We've designed a 3-piece insert that goes in here, 2 hinge points, 3 separate pieces. Really gives you all that flexibility that you're looking for. And from a comfort standpoint and from a feel standpoint, in my opinion and the opinion of our team, there's really nothing out there like Axe Suede. Axe Suede is a palm material that we use. We've used it for the last couple of years. We see it in a few other industries. We've seen it in our industry before. So it's nothing really groundbreaking from a material supplier standpoint. However, Axe has new materials and new technologies that are coming out all the time, and we really do a good job of staying in contact with them, making sure that we have the best material for a hockey glove, not just the best material to put in a work glove or in a lacrosse glove or whatever it may be. It's a different set of needs for a hockey player. And our Catalyst 9 model is going to feature that Axe Suede in the base layer, the overlay, as well as the gussets. So you're getting it all the way around. A really soft feel. This is a 0.7 millimeter material, so very thin. And we're able to go that thin because this material is really just that durable. It stretches in all directions and really puts you in contact with your stick the way that other materials don't. And then on the outside, as you just kind of look at the overall, the branding, the look of the glove, and it kind of looks unique. It's very clean breaks between everything, very clean breaks all through the backhand of the thumb. And we've gone to TPR branding, which is the branding across the cuff here, as well as these accent lines. Every single one of these are a TPR branded on top. This isn't a screen print. This isn't any, this is really a premium way of doing it. And it's not the cheap way of doing it, but it looks the best. It's very, very durable, and it's going to stay looking good for a very long time. So that's really was important for us to keep it together. And then when you get into the inside of the glove, we have foam materials in there that are very different than anything we've done before. And I want to show those to you. Our previous lines of gloves, we used a very traditional foam construction method. So this is a PE board on top of a foam. Basically, that PE board distributes the impact, the foam absorbs it. Very traditional way of doing it. Works well. It's worked for a long time. What we've done with this glove is actually go to 4 different layers of foam, or 4 different layers of material, 3 foams and the PE board. And every layer of this foam gets a little bit softer as it goes from the exterior of the glove to your hand. So obviously the PE board being plastic is quite hard, pretty dense foam here, a little softer yet. And what that does is just does an even better job of A, distributing that force hitting your hand, and B, making it and absorbing that force. So you're really hardly feeling it on your hand. So this is a very unique way of doing it. And you'll notice as you look at this, each piece of foam is cut differently. They're not all the exact same. They're all different shapes, different angles, and there's a reason for that. You look at a glove and you put 2 bricks together the way you would a backhand, or 2 cushions or 2 pads on the back of the glove. And what it does is it allows it to flex this way, but it doesn't allow it to flex outward at all as you open up your hand. So having multiple materials that have these tapered angles on it actually allow the glove and the brakes to flex both directions to really increase that flexibility and comfort in the hand. As opposed, as I said before, a more traditional way of a squared off foam, these 2 sitting on each other, there's really nowhere for it to go. So this entire glove is made out of 4-layer foam with PE board in those high impact zones that really allow it to flex and move in every direction. This is the piece, as you see here on the side of the hand, very large piece, which gets a lot of impact. We're really careful here to make this very durable, very absorbent. And some of these other pieces that don't have the PE board, but it's really important they hold that shape. So this is actually a form piece. And if you look closely, you'll see we've gone that extra level again with going back and tapering off the side of every single one of these pieces of foam inside that glove. And that's for that same reason. As you can imagine, you put 2 square pieces together, there's nowhere for them to go. But if you put 2 tapered, to kind of imagine this one's tapered together, and you have the ability to move the glove in every direction. This is something pretty unique. It's something that we have started doing with this Catalyst line, and we think it's really the right way to make a glove. There's no doubt about it. It's not the cheap way. It's not the easy way, but we want to make the best glove, the most flexible, the most comfortable glove we can possibly make. And as I mentioned before, that three-piece thumb, here is an example of the thumb inside. So as you can see there, as this sits on your hand, it flexes in 3 different locations. So not a novel concept. I'm aware this has been around for a while from some of our competitors, but we have designed it our way, in the way that we believe is best, and put that into this product. And we're excited about it. It's a big step forward for that construction in the Catalyst 9X. This glove is available in 7 different colors, so a wide variety of color options at that higher price point, and doing really, really well. And you'll notice also that there are 3 different materials on the outside of the glove of the Catalyst 9X. We have 2 different nylons, as well as a PU leather in certain locations. And that PU just gives it a very nice, clean finish that makes it look very, very premium. As we step down to the 7X, there are really pretty minimal differences here. As far as the protection goes, it's the same. We've got our 3-piece thumb in the 7X. We have that same foam construction that I talked about in the 7X. We have the same cuff construction that I talked about in the 7X. The real main differences here is there is a slight reduction in the number of breaks. So we lose a couple breaks on the backhand, a couple breaks on the thumb area. We do not lose those breaks on the fingers. So again, 3-piece fingers on the ring, index, and middle finger. So very, very flexible glove still. This one does go to a Nash base palm with an axe suede overlay and a Lycra gusset. So that's really the biggest difference between the two gloves is the number of breaks, the palm, and the gussets. You'll also notice that this is a 2 material outer shell, so 2 different nylon patterns on the outside of this glove. But outside of that, as I said, very, very similar. If you're looking for a glove that maybe doesn't have all the bells and whistles, but is a very comfortable, very flexible, very high performing glove, the 7X marks all those boxes. It's really, really, really nice glove. Again, as you look at it, the TPR branding, same thing. This is a nice chrome TPR true logo across the cuff, TPR accent lines. There's no embroidery anywhere on this glove. We've even gone to a raised ink here on the Catalyst branding. So it's really very premium looking product and feeling product. Then we have one more in the Catalyst 5X. So the 5X, you're getting down to a little bit more of a price point glove, but there are some significant pieces here. The biggest one at that price point is the cuff. You just really don't see a cuff with both a molded and a flexible cuff option at that price point. So as you put this on, even when you get all the way down and you flex this glove around on you, you get a nice seal on your hand as you put your arm straight up. And you're able to go all the way down with these cuts in the opening of the cuff. So a full range of motion in that price point with a molded cuff is something you really just don't find. We did make some changes on this glove. This does go to a 2-piece thumb. However, it is a completely redesigned 2-piece thumb. This is not the 2-piece thumb we've used in previous models. We've gone back to the drawing board, started over, and designed a new 2-piece thumb that gives you a little bit more protection on the back of your hand. Durability is very good, and we use a high-grade plastic here. One thing that some companies choose to do is to use a lower grade plastic as they move down in price point on their thumbs. We did not do that. It significantly impacts the impact resistance of the glove and the protection that the thumb provides. So while it is a 2-piece as opposed to the 3-piece in the 7X and 9X, this is a premium thumb insert produced out of high-end plastics. We do go down to a 2-piece finger and all 4 fingers here as well. This does, however, have that same foam construction we're talking about. So the 2 things that are tried and true across the entire line is a 5-piece flexible molded cuff and a foam technology using multiple layers, multiple density foam technologies across the glove. So again, that's anywhere from your entry level to your elite price point. You're getting all of those technologies, which is really an incredible value at a low price point. This does have a more traditional palm, so a Nash on Nash palm, Lycra gusset, and then just a single material nylon on the outside. As you'll see here, this does have embroidery and screen print, so you don't quite have all the bell and whistle, the high-end embellishments that you have. But again, performance first. We want obviously great looking product. I think we've achieved that with this line, but every single one of these gloves are going to perform at a very high level, and we've gone out to make sure that we're competing, if not going above what everyone else has done at these price points as far as features and benefits go. So really, really cool line of products. It looks great. And I think you will see it as you get it on your shelves, as you put your hands on them. It is a significant step forward to our previous glove lines. One other thing I'll mention, we do have a Catalyst 9 available in a youth glove in 2 colors, in black and navy as well. I don't have one of those here, but it's modeled to look like our Catalyst 9 glove. That one does not feature all of the foams and the same materials, but it is a nice entry-level price point for the youth player, young player getting into the game. I feel like I went through that pretty quickly, but I want to open it up to any questions, anything the team has. I'll be glad to answer those.
Jason, I don't see too much there right now. I should have actually also let off, I apologize, telling a little more about, I think we might have lost the San Diego guys, which is fine, but I think it's important with this audience to tell everybody kind of maybe even a little bit about yourself, and I'll fill in a little bit about Brian, because I think it's important. Brian kind of worked on a stick. Some people in the hockey industry might have heard of before. It was called the Easton Synergy. And we might have brought him into the company. So he talks about 7 years, when we made a stick with a true name on it. But Brian's got years and years of history and years of experience. And we also brought Mike McGrath in out there to help him, who we call the stick whisperer from Warrior. So again, 7 years, we say we're a 7-year-old stick company, but we have 50 years plus of experience, and we've been making product for a long time. And Jason, you came from our golf side. Why don't you tell the team a little bit about yourself? Because I think we gloss over sometimes the fact that we're 7 years old, but we actually have a lot of history.
Yeah, sure. So I've been with the company just about 10 years now. When I started here, it was primarily a golf company. I was brought in to lead the efforts in what at the time we called Performance Sports Division, and then it was everything except for golf was under that umbrella. And as Brian said, we were an OEM manufacturer. Our biggest competitors now were once our customers. So it has a very unique piece that we've seen kind of behind the curtain of what some of our competitors are doing. We know what they're doing, and we've learned from their mistakes. We've learned from their successes firsthand. So it's a unique piece. I have an engineering background. I studied mechanical engineering in school. I came here and I designed our golf shafts for 4 or 5 years, our steel golf shafts. So it's always fun to flip over a tour event and see guys win in with a shaft you designed and to be part of. But I'm a hockey guy through and through. I'm a hockey nut. I've been playing since I was 8 years old. I always tapped our hockey management team on the shoulder every time I saw them and said, let me know when there's an opportunity to flip over to the hockey side. And was lucky enough to get that about 3 years back and been leading our product development and product line management team since that point. So it's been a fun ride. It's been a fun ride to be a part of from the infancy. And I'll tell you what, to be in this corporate office and to see the energy and to see the effort and to see everybody that we're putting behind hockey, and it's a long ride. We're just beginning here. It's going to continue to grow very quickly. We're all very confident of that.
And well said. Thank you very much. And I think we don't kind of sometimes talk about that enough. I was fortunate enough last week to present to a pretty influential sports agency team in Toronto with our elite services group. And we talked to them about having 170 years of service in the room. So again, 7-year-old company with 30 plus years from our competitors that are on our pro side as well. So guys, I don't see any more questions coming in there. If there is anything, as I said, feel free to reach out to be at your territory manager, head office, however you need to be able to get in touch with us. I will reach out to Jason and Brian or anyone on our team that can help you out. Whatever question you have, be it be it product, be it sales, anything like that. And if there isn't any more questions, I just want to thank everyone again for the last 18 plus months. It's definitely been a journey. We've all pushed through it together. We're very looking forward to next week with the Catalyst hitting the market, and some good things are coming short term, hopefully, and everything getting back on the right track in the next couple of months here. So, I see one more question Cole may have that came in. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Cole.
Jason, I got a note here asking about our custom glove program and if we have any offerings on custom glove and if there's a turnaround time to that.
Yeah, we don't at the time. It's something that we are working on, as it's not something that I can offer to you right now, but I would say it's something that we expect to have running at full scale in the next 9 to 12 months. So it's something certainly on our radar that we're getting up to speed with. So not yet, stay tuned, but it is coming.
Okay. Well, great, guys. Thanks everyone who joined. Again, feel free to ask questions. We did record this session. We'll cut out some of myself speaking, and we'll get this out to you guys and put some Q&A behind it and send it out to everyone as well, so you can have it for future PK reference if needed. We'll be happy to share it with you. And we will also be moving forward in the near future when we can get a chance to get in front of Brian, and we'll do a Stick Academy for the first time based around Catalyst. We just, obviously travel has not allowed us to be able to do that, but we're hoping to pull that off very shortly in the next couple of weeks, be able to get that out to you as well. So thank you very much. Greatly appreciate everyone attending today, and stay safe, and let's get back on the ice.